It's about 20 past 7 p.m. on Saturday the 12th of July. I've been working on the last couple of weeks worth of videos and got one out and the other one's on the way. It's been a low-key sort of day. We did manage to pop into town to go to the good old Polish supermarket, and then in the afternoon we popped down to some garden centres. Our usual favourite, Skylark, was devoid of any sort of vegetable seedlings whatsoever. We managed to get a couple of houseplants there instead. Then we popped over to Delftland, where they had these nice little plug plants. So these are 3 types of kale, a purple, a green. I've got the proper types recorded. I can't remember them exactly off the top of my head right now. There's a purple kale, a green kale, and a Carvalho Nero style kale. So we're going to put them in a bit of empty bed there under that mesh net, because otherwise the pigeons will have them for breakfast. And felt inspired by Mum enjoying the bronze fennel we've seen around the place whilst travelling, and picked up 4 little bronze fennels as well to poke in somewhere. And also at Delftland got this little tray of marigolds, or tajitis if you will. You may have seen this little thing down here. I've just designed that in FreeCAD this afternoon and spat it out on the 3D printer. Just a prototype really, but it's looking like it'll do the job. Probably want to make a couple of tweaks. Kat suggested, quite rightly, I probably need to reinforce that top a bit, because the way it's going to be used is going to put a fair bit of stress on the top. And the way it's used is mainly inspired by these tomatillos. And what we found in previous years is they do like to send out these quite long lateral branches, and then the weight of the fruit on them just snaps them off, and we've had tomatillo plants snap quite a lot in the past. So what we're going to do is put a pole up in the middle and pop this on top, and then the holes are so that we can run strings down to the branches and hold them all up. So that cane's probably a bit taller than we need. We probably want that to be about there, I reckon. But yeah, so we're going to try rigging that up, get some of these little plants in the ground, and it'll just be a simple little afternoon. Well, evening now really, isn't it? We're not intending to do a whole lot today. It's more of a rest and recuperation day. It's been a tiring week, or couple of weeks really, but Cat's busy stomping the animal holes in here. I don't know how bad they are, but they do like to burrow. I don't know if the garlic has warded them off much at all from the video, which is technically a couple of weeks ago, but we shall see. I've got videos I've done recently were mainly about thinning these fruit out, and that's just the editing I'm doing at the moment. And I think I also might have covered the fact that I've done a fair bit of side shooting in here earlier this week. But yeah, we're hoping to have a pretty biggish day down here tomorrow. The temperature is going to be a bit lower. It's been pretty toasty, really, last few days. But it's nice, but don't want to work out inside that all the time. Oh, he's looking a bit wilty, isn't he? Anyway, I'm going to crack on with this first, and we'll see how we get to in an hour or so this afternoon. Just a little one, like I said. And there we have it. I think that's going to work quite well. It's got plenty of holes for the strings, and it's going to hold up these little branches down here. Yeah, pretty happy with that. But I'll get a few more printed after some slight design tweaks. The local church bells have just rung out 9 p.m. But it's been a beautiful little evening. It's just so pleasant down here right now. We've planted a few different things around the place, and Cat's been stomping and flooding the holes in the ground, the rodent holes. So there's a little bronze fennel down there, and there's another one just down the other end of this bed. Oh, where is it? Got the zoom on, so it's quite a pan. There we go. So bronze fennels there, and I have popped a big patch of kale in down here. So this whole end of this bed is kales. They're about 35 centimeters apart, 30-ish, and about 45 for the rows. They're probably a little close together because kales grow into quite big plants, but if necessary we'll cut them, we'll thin them into a sort of a double triangle, and then we can thin some out. If they live that long. We have a terrible record with brassicas. There's a couple more bronze fennels in this bed, so I've just placed them out there. And obviously from the ground you can see that I've been watering some things, generally watering. Yeah, the pear tree is somewhat tied back now, which is fantastic. It's great just being able to walk through here again. The pear tree that I thinned out recently, and there's supposed to be some wooden beams here and stuff, but I've just got some wire in there and some strings, and that is doing the job perfectly well for now. We'll be kind of espaliering that pear eventually. It's not so visible, but I've also thinned out the quince a bit. So yeah, a few little things done. It's been a good little evening. We'll see how we go tomorrow now, but it's been productive. I'm happy with that. It was supposed to be a pretty low-key day, and considering that, we've managed to get a fair bit done. Okay, pack up, go home time. Oh, and as you can see over there, he says pack up, go home, and he keeps going. We'll be putting these marigolds in somewhere tomorrow, but Kat has a nice little berry harvest, and we've got a couple more zucchinis. It is the season. We shall be having a couple more zucchinis constantly. Hopefully they won't get too big. Okay, right, definitely going now. It is 4 PM on Sunday the 13th of July, nearly halfway through the month already. So, I printed out some more of these at home. I've tweaked the design slightly. This shiny one's actually been ABS, so acetone vapour smoothed, which should actually toughen it up and obviously make it a little bit more water shedding rather than the usual textured kind of effect you get with the 3D printing. So just playing around with a few things, and I've modified the design slightly. As you can see, this one's got a smooth tube on it, whereas this one has some flanges, some elephant foot going on deliberately to sort of strengthen that up. And the top has also been padded out, which is not visible from the outside, but there's basically padding in the top there, so the whole thing should be a bit stronger when it pushes down on that cane that it's going to go on top of. So going to fit them, so there's 4 of them now, which will go on these 4 tomatillos here, like that one which I filmed at the end of yesterday. So what else is going on? We're trying to do a few things today. Kat's currently weeding out the weeds at the front. Got a few of them. The front of the plot is generally not well controlled. I've brought down our wizened old potatoes, which should have gone in the ground some months ago, but we've just never had anywhere to put them because the beds, which should be behind me, haven't been built. So a potential job for today is to build these beds. So basically, not all of them, but clear this space out here. We've now got nicely yellow painted corners, and we've got some boards for that up the back, so I can build 3 or 4 low raised beds to go in the spot basically where all this junk is right now. So the junk needs to move, obviously. So I brought the chop saw down. So that's one job. Another key job, just thinking about it right now, this bindweed wasn't there the other day, and it's already climbed all the way up that weed. So yeah, bindweed. This is definitely a very bindweedy plot, so we'll be battling that for a few years. Anyway, the other key job I was thinking about was to build a cane arch here, obviously for these beans we've planted, so there's beans either side, so they need a structure to climb on now. So cane arch for them is one of the plans, and I'm going to have to think about how to do that in such a way that we can still reach the zucchinis through that. I mean, the end ones are not so bad, but then there's obviously one in the middle. I have to make sure there's access for them. So they're kind of the two key checkbox jobs for today. Raised beds and cane arch. I think I'm probably forgetting something, but oh well. And maybe if we get the raised beds in, what we'll do is we'll just lay out these potatoes in the bottoms of them and just cover them in the well-rotted horse manure and see what happens. At least that'll be something in the ground, and we may get some late potatoes. If like, they're obviously not very healthy, they're very dried out, but there is life there, so maybe something will happen. So yeah, I better get cracking, and first thing I'm going to do is move all this stuff somewhere else. The eternal game of allotment Tetris. Okay, there is our first two pallet collar beds with our bright yellow done up pallet collars. So that one's been done and planted, and this one is just scooped out all of the wood chip and laid out these sad wizened little potatoes from our chittered potato collection that should have gone in probably 2 months ago, but such is life. We didn't have the beds for them. Now we do. So these beds both have 5 by 3 potatoes in it, across 3 varieties. What were they? Nicola, Purple Rain. I've forgotten. I'll write it down on the screen or something. But there's a few varieties in there, and they may grow. They may not grow. We shall see. And they might grow and then get blight and die. Such is life. But yeah, so basically that's just been forked a bit to loosen up the subsoil, bit of bloodfish and bone spread over it, the potatoes are laid out, and then we'll put a layer of our own pretty much topsoil, the silty loam stuff that Kat's putting into the wheelbarrow here, and that will just get carefully placed over those potatoes to hold them in place. And then we put a good thick layer of this well-rotted horse manure over the top of that. And then we have 2 more beds with potatoes in them. When the potatoes work or don't work or are over, we'll have an old later autumn crop to put in there probably, or we'll just put some overwinter leaf crops or green manure or something in there. We shall see. But yeah, the plan is to have 5 of these, we think. So where I'm standing, there's another one here, and that will cross slightly into the other plot here. If I expand out the zoom a bit, so there'll be basically that one there, then another one the same size. They're 1.1 wide. I was going 1.2, but that just feels a bit wide. Even I sort of struggle to reach the middle comfortably. So 1.1 wide and 1.5 long. So that'll be the same here, which will spread slightly into this plot. This weird wisteria thing will be going. We'll find a new home for that. Obviously there's a pear tree in this spot here. So there's not going to be one there because we don't want to put the pear tree in the middle of a bed really. So we're not planning on putting one there, I reckon. And there's not really a very big space on this side of the pear tree. So Kat mentioned maybe putting some pots and stuff around there, or some planters. We could have potato planters, things like that. So then there'll be another pear here. So obviously there's this one next to me here. There'll be one there where that pile of wood chip is, and then one here where the wheelbarrow and Kat are standing. That will be the 5 beds, and that will be really useful. And next year we'll be able to grow a whole lot more than we did this year. That's the plan. Okay, cracking on with that now. Well, it has just gone 9 PM, and we're just packing up. So one of the last jobs I did was to get these angled frames in for these gherkins, Daphne H gherkins. These panels we got from the plot over the road when they abandoned that, and we had a free-for-all session for the stuff, so we grabbed some of these panels which were useful. So they're just sort of wedged in place with some poles, and the idea is hopefully the gherkins will grow up them and the fruit will hang below. One can always hope. So the big bit of work today is all around here, and this front area is actually starting to look pretty decent now. Look at that. Kat's done some hard work sort of getting all this flattened out, so we've now got a relatively party path out from the front there. So that's where the gates are supposed to be. We've been using that entry over there where I've staged up all that stuff to go in the car. And we have 2 new low raised beds. using our fancy yellow pallet collars. We've even planted some marigolds in the corners. I thought there were more marigolds in that pack than 6, but we only got 6 from Delftland. I should have got more. They're quite big plants though, so they're sort of instant life. So yeah, so that's a pretty good achievement for today. For the weekend, Sunday. And then I started to get this frame together. So this will be our bean tunnel. We usually have a bean tunnel around somewhere. That's going to be a new construction. It's definitely a bit flimsy still. It needs a lot more of these side struts, like this. So we do this, and then we have this sort of coming down at an angle, and that gives it sort of some protection from the wind. See, it doesn't actually want to move too easily. But we need more of them on there, and more struts in general, and some cross strings and stuff to make it a good climbing spot. But yeah, that's not a bad job of work today. We've done some useful things. We've done some watering. I'm still pretty chuffed about my achievement yesterday with these basic strings. It's great being able to walk through here again. But that's it. One little stop into the polytunnel because we can look at some tomatoes. Look at that. We're not as far along as we ought to be, and definitely not as far along as some other folks are who are more on it than we are. But I'm happy to see some tomatoes forming. We'll definitely have a good crop of tomatoes. A little bit of blossom end rot happening there. I think we need to be more consistent with our watering. Seems to be the main thing to blame for blossom end rot. And I thought I'd also have a quick look at some chillies. There's some good chilli action going on in here. Look, there's some nice jalapenos on that. That'll be the chili chump jalapeno plant. There's chilies everywhere I look in here. Look at these down there. I think that might be the Madre Vija, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I need to put some actual labels on things. I've got it all recorded. Oh, and the other thing that I missed is that we have finally planted these. So that's the fig there. This is the Cabernet Sauvignon, and these were quite deep, and what we did is we hollowed it out and we made a mix with quite a bit of grit and perlite in it, in the hope that it sort of helps them with drainage, because we don't want them sitting in our wet soil too much. And they're raised up slightly, so this is obviously raised up from the outside. These sleepers are on the ground level. So yeah, this is the Boss Coupe Glory. And the little one we're looking at behind us was the Cabernet Sauvignon. So the idea with them is to have them trellised either side of that, and to have the fig on that end wall. Hopefully without creating too much shade for future chili plants. But yeah, anyway, 9 PM, work tomorrow, and better get home, make some salad, have a dinner. Okay, that'll do us. Oh, and one last thing. Just look at that raspberry. Isn't that perfect? I think I shall have him for dinner. Oh, is it going to come off? Oh, yeah, there we go. Maybe a little bit on the underripe side, but that'll just make it extra tart and zingy. Yeah, having some good raspberry times lately. Okay, now that's really it for today. I shall trek off home with my little flower pot of raspberries.